This is a third and fourth stimulus check update. The IRS gave two new payment dates of when you could expect to get the third stimulus check. That's March 31st and April 2nd. I'll let you know who could expect checks on those dates and some more important details. With the 30 million Social Security recipients expecting to receive the third stimulus check, I'll let you know what's happening and where we stand as of now. The fourth stimulus check is gaining traction in Congress as well as the public, and the White House just made an announcement with the infrastructure bill how it may be split into two different parts. I'll give you all those details, then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you appreciate these straight to the point updates, then hit the like button down below. So we are joined by my 2-year-old daughter, Kalea. So my wife is a nurse, she works throughout the day, and I watch the kids during the day, and if my 2-year-old wakes up a little earlier than expected, she joins me for the videos. So hopefully she's not too distracting. I want to get your opinion on this first. So when every dollar goes to old debt, families wonder whether stimulus will end poverty. So let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. I feel like for a lot of people who need the stimulus check money, it's mainly to pay past bills, overdue bills, past rent, utility, or just to get food on the table. But do you think stimulus can end poverty? Is there another solution to this? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about these missing stimulus checks. If you haven't gotten a third stimulus check yet, you're not out of luck. You will get it, especially if you got the first and second stimulus check. But unfortunately, there are tens of millions of people who still haven't received their third stimulus check yet. So first, I want to focus on the 30 million people who haven't received the stimulus checks yet. So there are 30 million people on Social Security, or just, it could be SSI, SSDI, RRB, anyone who receives Social Security. There was a big issue with 30 million of them not getting the third stimulus check. So what happened is, I mentioned this in yesterday's video in more detail. I'm just going to briefly go over it. But basically, the delay of the $1,400 stimulus checks for those on Social Security was blamed on lack of funding, as Americans are desperate for help. So this is a really messed up situation here. So Andrew Saul, who is the Social Security Administration Commissioner, he basically said that the delay of the stimulus checks was blamed on lack of funding. Basically saying, hey, we didn't get enough money, so we couldn't send those 30 million files over. And it's a shame to think about it as 30 million files. It's actually 30 million lives and our most vulnerable people in our society, which I think is ridiculous and unacceptable. I think what he was doing... Okay. I think what he was doing is he was holding these files hostage, because what I found in an article is that the Social Security Administration did not immediately respond to questions about whether it used the entirety of the 38 million appropriated for the second round of stimulus payments, which was authorized for use until September 30th of 2021. Basically, what that means is the Social Security Administration got $38 million to send out the second round of stimulus checks. Now, to be clear, this $38 million isn't for stimulus check money. Yeah? Okay. Sorry. The $38 million wasn't for stimulus checks to go out to the people. It was for the administration. So for workers, employees, overhead, which $38 million seems a little excessive just to send out stimulus checks. And basically, what he said is, we didn't get any money this time, which is why we didn't send over the 30 million files, even though the IRS asked for those files many times and there were just excuses. So where we stand now is the IRS has the 30 million files. Hopefully within the next day or so, they mention what is actually happening, because I think it's unacceptable, these delays that are happening. I think people on Social Security should have gotten their stimulus checks first of the line, instead of waiting at the end of the line. I asked the question in yesterday's video, do you think Andrew Saul should be fired for what he did with the Social Security Administration? And pretty much 100% of the people said yes, he should be fired. So I really hope that the media covers this more, because what the media is just covering is saying, oh, 30 million files were just delayed in the process, the IRS has it, now the IRS is going to send those checks. Not really digging in, with a few articles kind of talking about this. I'm actually surprised. Next, let's talk about what's happening with the two payment dates according to the IRS. So this may include SSI SSDI, and I don't think it's part of the 30 million Social Security recipients. The IRS hasn't addressed that yet, but this is other people who haven't yet gotten the third stimulus check, and this is the third batch. So according to Alexander Harrow, mine said it'll be delivered on the 2nd of April. So that probably isn't the case. A lot of people got April 2nd as a mailed paper check date, but April 2nd is actually going to be the date that they mail it out. It won't be in your mailbox by April 2nd. It's when it's going to be mailed out. Also, Views by Shawnee says, I'm not on SSI, however, I received the date of April 2nd, 2021. File my 2020 taxes at the beginning of the month. And then also Jason Voorhees says, I'm in the April 2nd group. So April 2nd for mailed paper checks. And it could also be debit cards as well. And then it's going to be March 31st for direct deposits. Now, unfortunately, again, the IRS is leaving us in the dark. They're not saying that these checks are going to be, or the IRS hasn't officially said anything about these check dates. It's actually from all of your comments. So thank you for your comments, what people have said with the Get My Payment tool. Hey. And I'm really sorry if my daughter Kalea is distracting you. I just really want to give you this news and make sure that you know what's happening with your third stimulus check. So subscribe to the channel if you want the latest on the payment dates and what's happening with your third stimulus check. I want to let you know that I'm doing hours of research every day and that I'm here for you every day to let you know exactly what's happening. So moving on, let's talk about the eviction moratorium. So I feel like there's been rumors about the eviction moratorium, but nothing has been done, or the extension of it. So President Biden faces decision time on the eviction moratorium. There's been rumors saying that they might extend it until May. Today is March 29th. If they were going to do something, they should have already done it. I don't think there's going to be an extension because people who are about to be evicted are probably already making plans, whether they're going to stay with their family or go to a homeless shelter, which is really unfortunate. But if they were to say something, they should have already said it. So I'll let you know if there is an extension or any announcements on that. So far, nothing yet. Next, let's move on to the fourth stimulus check. So lawmakers are talking about additional payments as some Americans still have not received the $1,400 stimulus check. So there's still, as I mentioned, tens of millions of people who haven't gotten the third stimulus check, and they're lightly talking about the fourth stimulus check, which will come probably in the next package. So the White House confirms the infrastructure plan will be in two different parts. So this comes from the White House, Jen Psaki, White House press secretary. I'll show you the video clip in a moment. But basically what she was mentioning is that there could be a bill for, or there could be one part for infrastructure and then others for different parts. So if we look at if we look at President Biden's website that he campaigned on, he had a lot of promises. $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. And I'm sure if you're on Social Security, you remember the increase of monthly Social Security checks by $200 per month. That's the big one. He might have mentioned the $10,000 federal student loans maybe in some interviews, and he said, yeah, I'm for it, didn't say when. But there has been crickets, no mentioning of the $200 per month Social Security increase. So more details are going to be revealed this week regarding the package. Here is Jen Psaki talking about the infrastructure bill.
Finally, as we said at the top of the program, the president is going to lay out the next part of his economic recovery program in a speech in Pittsburgh this week, including infrastructure, education, child care, a number of issues. Is that going to be just one huge bill, or is it going to be split up into two parts, and how big is the total price tag going to be?
Well, first, Chris, when the president advocated for the American Rescue Plan, he talked about this being two stages, rescue, then recovery. What the American people will hear from him this week is part of his plan, the first step of his plan toward recovery, which will include an investment in infrastructure. We shouldn't be 13th in the world. I don't think anyone believes that. The wealthiest, most innovative country in the world. And he's going to have more to say later in April about the second part of his recovery plan, which will include a number of the pieces you talked about. Healthcare, child care, addressing that. It's a crisis right now. The number of women who have left the workforce, he wants to help to address that. The total package we're still working out, but he's going to introduce some ways to pay for that, and he's eager to hear ideas from both parties as well.
So are we talking about two separate bills? And if so, just briefly, because we're out of time, is he hoping that infrastructure he can get passed with Republican votes, and then he sticks what we're hearing is going to be $2 trillion in tax cuts in the second package, and then pass that through reconciliation on a straight Democratic Party line vote?
Well, we're not quite at a legislative strategy yet, Chris, but I will say that I don't think Republicans in this country think we should be 13th in the world as it relates to infrastructure. Roads, railways, rebuilding them, that's not a partisan issue. That's a lot of what the president will talk about this Wednesday. Then he will have another package, another proposal that he will put forward in just a couple of weeks that will address a lot of issues that American people are struggling with, child care, the cost of health care. So that's what they can expect to hear from him in April.
But just to lock down, two separate bills, correct?
Two separate proposals, and we'll work with the Senate and the House to see how it should move forward.
Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. So the infrastructure bill is going to be split up into two parts, which in my opinion, what I think they're going to do is they're going to pass something that has bipartisan support first, so something that Republicans are on board with, and then something that they think the Republicans may not be on board with, they'll pass later on down the line. Maybe they'll do it through reconciliation. Anyway, that's my opinion. What do you think? Oh, okay. Yeah, let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. Next, so also what's happening is we're getting crumbs of what's also in this infrastructure bill. We'll find out for sure this week, but what they're saying is universal pre-K, free community college, climate change measures. Those don't seem like bipartisan topics, so it might be in the second part. We'll find out more details, as I mentioned. Regarding the fourth stimulus check, will Biden and Congress give you another payment? So there are lawmakers, over 60 of them so far, who are saying that they are in support of further stimulus checks. So this group, so far 64 congressional lawmakers have pushed for recurring direct payments until the pandemic ends. That doesn't seem like a bipartisan move as well. So you want to go down?
No.
Where's your Yoda? Okay. Sorry. So that doesn't seem like bipartisan as well. So maybe that'll be in a separate part of it. And also regarding the recurring stimulus checks, Rashida Tlaib and Pramila Jayapal unveil a plan to provide $2,000 monthly payments, but it's actually $1,000 monthly payments. It's going to be $2,000 up front, then $1,000 per month. So I'll keep you updated on that, but that may be in the package. We don't know yet, or it could be, well, this was actually a standalone bill. So this won't be in a package, but there could be something different in the package. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. All right, you gotta be quiet, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, look, we're filming a video. See? So Becky Hines asks, what about Direct Express? That's how I get my Social Security disability check. Sorry about that, she was being really squirmy. All right, so Becky Hines asks, what about Direct Express? That's how I get my Social Security disability check. So Direct Express card holders most likely are grouped in with that 30 million Social Security recipient group that the IRS is processing their information. If you're getting payment status not available in the Get My Payment tool, you're not alone. Probably the majority of people have that because the IRS hasn't processed all the information yet. So yeah, you're most likely, once we get news on the 30 million Social Security recipients, we'll know more about Direct Express as well. Jeff Strider asks, I'm on SSI with direct deposit and haven't received my stimulus yet. I've heard different stories that if you have credit card debt, debt collectors can take it. Is this true? So if you have credit card debt that is paid off, or not completely paid off, but you're current on your payments, the stimulus check will not be garnished, right? If you're, let's say you have, $2,000 in credit card debt, but you're paying the minimum payment every month, your stimulus check is protected. But if you have, $2,000 in credit card debt and you're not paying the minimum of like $35 a month, then what happens is it goes into debt collection, and then they have a judgment against you, and then they can garnish the check. Same goes for medical debt. But if you just have credit card debt, it's not an issue. Next question comes from Mary Bullinger. If the government is sending out paper checks to help Americans, why do the people who cash checks charge a percentage to cash them? Great question. So some people who have stimulus checks or just checks in general, if you go to a check cashing business, what happens is you give them the check and then they give you cash and they take a percentage of the check. I don't recommend doing that. If you get a stimulus check, have a bank account and just deposit it into the bank account, and then you could go to the bank and take out the cash for free. So that would be a better solution to a check cashing business, which I don't think is the best use of cashing checks. Next, I have a question. If I did my taxes before they said $3,600, will I get the difference? So the $3,600 child tax credit is for 2022, or it's for 2022 when you would actually receive it. But what they're doing is they want to give it to you in a monthly payment starting July 1st. So rather than like this year, if you already filed your taxes, you should have gotten maybe around $2,000 as a child tax credit per kid, right? So in 2022, when you file your taxes, rather than getting the credit then, they're giving it to you a little early, maybe like 5 months early. So Okay. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To cheer up your day a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day. Also, I'm sorry if this was a little more distracting with my daughter in it, but here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, sorry guys, I see that. Can I tell you something? What I want to do is go to the moon. I need to go to the moon. Never mind. What do you want? Tell me in the comments below and see what you want. If you want to do something, then accomplishment. Do what you want, because that after you get too old to not do what you want. Oh, bye. The moon, bye.
By the way, I wanted to let you know that I published a book a few months ago. It is the 50-Day Success Journal. So if you ever have any goals that you ever wanted to complete, this is the book for you. It's how to complete any goal within 50 days, and it gives you the framework and exactly how to do it, and pretty much acts as an accountability partner, which I think accountability is probably one of the hardest things in terms of any goal or anything you want to accomplish. This book does that for you. So I'll have a link to this book down in the description below if you wanted to purchase it. Also, if you want to learn more about goals in general, click this video over here. It's on my Wise Vibes channel of the best ways, 5 best ways of how to complete any goal. So click that video now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.